The FDA has gotten a lot of pressure both from the public and from our legislators that they are not reacting quickly enough to get drugs for patients who have serious and life-threatening illnesses to the public. So they've put together several types of processes to try to facilitate that. These are programs such as breakthrough designation, fast-track designation, accelerated approval, and priority review, all of which are designed to essentially help move new drugs and biologic therapies from the time of conception to final marketing approval. And really the idea is that if these drugs have an unmet need, so they're better than an existing drug for a serious or life-threatening condition, the FDA will work with the drug company to help them with drug design, to help collaborate with them on the process, and sometimes to help do the final review even more quickly. And so we're going to see more and more of this. The interesting thing is that sometimes they will actually, sometimes this will be at the request of the drug company, but sometimes the FDA will actually initiate this process based on some of the early studies that come out. The 21st Century Cures Act, which came out in December of 2016, did even more to move this along the way. It did two things. The first thing it did was it funded the NIH. So the NIH is going to do a lot of research to help sponsor not only the research behind this, but the beginning steps of a lot of these drugs. But the 21st Century Cures Act really felt strongly, or was sponsored by people who felt strongly, that we continued to take too long to get these new drugs to market for patients who were suffering. And so they changed the level of evidence required to get drugs approved by the FDA. So traditionally, the gold standard has been randomized controlled trials to determine if a new drug is better than existing medications. The 21st Century Cures Act said that the FDA could and should use real-world evidence. By that, they meant that observational studies or patient registries could be used to approve new drugs. So that's very exciting in that it could potentially allow drugs to get approved much more quickly. The question is whether or not we'll have good data on the safety and efficacy and clinical outcomes of these drugs as they come along. So we have the opportunity for a lot more research, a lot more drugs coming more quickly, but we don't necessarily know if we're going to have drugs that are safe, effective, or even potentially harmful coming to the market. So MCG is going to be continuing to write guidelines because of this tremendous growth. And it's important for our clients to have that information. But also as this FDA's criteria for reviewing drugs and approving them changes, we want to make sure that our clients all have objective data to help evaluate that and determine if these drugs really produce better outcomes and are safe and effective.